And good morning, this is Mike Lodge. I am the business advisor. And I hope you're listening to me on iHeartRadio app. It's out there. It's free to download no matter where you're at. You can listen to me in your car, in your house, in the bathroom, taking a shower. I can be everywhere on the iHeart app. Listen, I wanted to talk to you just a little bit about our spending habits during the Christmas holidays. Now, I'm going to talk, and I may have to pause and cough a little bit because I just can't get rid of that cough that I had that was created by COVID. But it's been almost 2 weeks now, and I still have that little itty bitty itch that's inside my chest. Now, one good thing for the radio, it's lowered my voice, so I'm down to a lower tone. But I don't want to have it at this low voice because it doesn't feel very good. COVID, I tell you, this is a stupid thing, right? Whoever invented that needs to be shot and whipped and killed and maimed and everything else because it's just done too much damage. Now, a lot of you are going out and you may be creating Christmas debt. In Christmas debt, I mean those of you whipping out your credit cards and using them. And you may have a whole bunch. Now, credit card debt is at the highest it's ever been in this nation. I mean, it is up there. It's in the billions. Listen, if you don't have the ability to purchase gifts, if your cash flow is zero, it's okay to tell people that I'm sorry, but this year I'm just not giving. So I'll make it up in other good years, but right now I just have no cash to spend. I have no cash to buy gifts. And I don't expect you to buy me gifts either. That should be the conversation. It should be an open communication that's being done with everybody. Or on Facebook or anything. Just say, honestly, from the bottom of your heart, you have no cash. And you don't want to go into debt on the credit card just to buy a gift. Now, a lot of you can also say, listen, I make a really damn good jam. Make some bottles of jam. Some of you might be able to make pickles. Some of you might be able to make bread. I love making bread and giving it out as gifts. I'm just that kind of a person because it takes my mind off of issues. You know, when you're kneading that dough, a lot of stress goes out the door. But you can do things like that. You can even become very creative in designing IOU gifts. We have to think just a little bit differently this Christmas, and perhaps even next Christmas. But right now, cash flow and money in the bank just is non-existent anymore in a lot of families. I know it's non-existent in my family. You know, I am my only family. I'm the only one in my house, but when you're in private practice, especially at the Christmas time, you have situations where clients are not paying you. And they might be 30, they might be 60 days behind schedule. That's not a good thing to have, but it happens because clients are short on cash, just like I'm short on cash. You're short on cash. So we have to manage our money just a little bit differently. And that means we don't buy any expensive gifts. We don't go out and buy stuff for family members and friends and co-workers and everything else. In fact, companies should do away with the gift giving at all this year. They should strike it from the holiday season because families just don't have the money. Employees just don't have the money. Everything has gone so far up in price. To buy food, it's 3 times more than it ever was. I'm shocked every time I go into the market and buy gifts and it's $150, $180. And I'm just buying just a few things. Even at Walmart, it's no longer cheap. No, it's not. So I'm always looking for special deals out there. Now, I don't mean to bring you down based on my financial situation. But you and I, and a lot of us, are in that same boat where cash flow just is not flowing. In fact, there is no cash and there is no flow. I just went and bought cough drops. Just simple, plain old cough drops because of my throat and my chest. $10.11. That's how much it was. $10.11. Never used to be that much. It used to be down in the $6 range, but now it's $10.11. So, when you're getting hit in your pocketbook by all of these higher costs, it limits our ability to give. Now, there are other ways of giving. Don't forget that. There's other ways of giving besides gifts. So if you know how to make a good apple jam, a good apple, what do they call it? Apple butter. I make apple butter. You can take some apples and you can make 6 jars out of some apples. And you can give those out and just put a nice bow on it, put a nice card on it and say, Merry Christmas. This comes from my heart. It doesn't come from my credit card. It comes from my heart. So there's a lot of different things that you can do. Go to YouTube and look for things that you can do that are gifts to give that are made by your own hands. Now, if you have the money and if you have the ability, then God bless you. You have been blessed tremendously. But instead of giving that to family, give it to a shelter that needs food for the homeless, that needs food for the hungry, that has a soup kitchen that needs to serve food on Christmas Day. Tell your relatives, hey, listen, and your friends, hey, I donated in your name so that people could eat on Christmas Day. So that sacks of food could be sent to families that really need this substance. We're still very lucky. You and I, we're still making money. We're still working. We still have jobs. We still have money coming in, but the money is tight. And we all know that. We're all experiencing it, right? But there's other ways of giving of gifts in the issue of giving of time, giving of volunteer hours, taking a child under your wings and tutoring them. Making sure that if you know of somebody in your church or community that have lost their jobs or don't have any money and they're very hungry, put a bag together and send it out. Give it to them. Christmas is that time of the season, right? It's a giving mode. But we don't have to go into credit card debt to be in this giving mode. You don't have to go into debt. You're already in debt. Some of you have stopped paying certain expenses out there because you can no longer afford them. Because you've got to take that money and now put it towards food or towards heating your home or water or utilities or something that is going to be able to make you survive. So some of you are already taking your budgetary money and using it towards living. But there are other ways that you can give. Remember, even though you can't give money, you can give time. You can give an apple butter jam. You can do it in so many different ways. Be creative. But my gosh, don't go into debt. There's no need to go into $1,000 debt or $500 debt or $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000. Don't go into debt because that debt's very expensive. When you're paying 17% on that debt, that's not wise. That's not good spending habits. So put the word out. Don't be afraid to put the word out. And if you're my friend and if you can't do anything for me, I understand. I love you no more nor less because I respect the way that you're using your cash flow that you currently have. It's amazing, isn't it? Gosh, we are living in some times that I bet you thought, America will always be the land of milk and honey. Well, the milk is dried up and the honey is gone and the bees are no longer producing. So what do you have to do? You have to think about yourself. You have to think about your family, your own personal finances. And you have to be honest with everybody. I cannot afford to give out gifts this year. I just can't do it. There's nothing wrong with that. People understand. People are going through the same situation. People are hurting just as much as you're hurting. But if you're going into debt, that's a dumb thing to do. You don't go into debt to give out gifts. You don't do it. Sometimes you have to say, okay, sorry, not this time. Sorry, but I'm broke. Sorry, I'll make it up later. You have that ability of choice and you can make that choice. But if you choose to go into debt, you're making a bad decision. That is a bad financial decision. I hate debt. I have no debt. I have no car debt. I have no house debt. I have no anything like that debt. And I don't use credit cards. Everything that I do is in cash. If I don't have the cash, you're probably not going to get it. We have to think just a little bit differently this Christmas season. And this season is not a season for debt. I mean, we are thankful that we have credit cards at some point in time. But don't use it to go into debt. People will understand that your need to stay out of debt is more important than giving them a gift. If they are, they probably should not be your friend or a member of your family. Because if they can't understand the complexities of personal finance and how money pays our bills and how it pays for our groceries and buying those tennis shoes for your child or medication that you need. If they don't understand that, they're not the right kind of friend to have. They're not the right kind of relative to be associating with. In fact, they probably don't deserve a gift at all. If you want to be rude and crude about it. But this is life. So in this season of giving, you don't have to give. You can give some time. You can give a can of food. You can give a loaf of bread. You can do whatever you want to that is within your budget. But credit cards are not in your budget. Debt is not in your budget. Listen, if you want to have more access to me, you can go to my website at www.lodge.co.com. Again, that's www.lodge.co.com. Listen, I'm going to listen to some jazzy Christmas music this morning. Let's have some joy to the world here. I'll talk with you soon. Everybody, God bless you.